Our job, all of our jobs, everybody on the crew, it's our job to try to make the most entertaining film we can.
Coming up on this edition of Movie Star, the career of action star Bruce Willis.
I have a woodpecker that actually follows me around and whispers little things in my ear. Talked me out of doing a couple films that he was right on about. But I'm not sure that happens to every actor.
His name is etched in box office history. Movie star Bruce Willis takes chances, loves cutting-edge technology, and isn't afraid to accept the quirky character roles hitting his desk.
He's just like a really cool person to hang with. He's the type of person that'll go anywhere with you, to the ends of the earth with you. You know, and that's why I love him like that. Love him just like a brother.
He's malleable. He can do anything. If he wants to do it, he can do it.
You realize what an actor he is, really at heart, and how hard he works to really make the character work, the script work, the scenes work. You know, and that's an actor.
Moviegoers shell out their hard-earned dollars for Bruce Willis. According to Chris Gardner, film reporter for The Hollywood Reporter, Willis's engaging personality equates to big screen success.
One reason that Bruce Willis is such a popular celebrity is that he has a really genuine mix of like a tough guy attitude, witty charm. He's funny, and that really appeals to audiences of all types.
He was born Walter Bruce Willis on March 19, 1955, on a military base in Idar Oberstein, West Germany. After college, Bruce moved to New York, where he bartended while waiting for his break in films. Willis first hit the big screen in small, uncredited roles in Frank Sinatra's The First Deadly Sin and The Verdict. That's Bruce's A Courtroom Extra. 3 years later, at the age of 30, he was chosen from among 3,000 hopefuls during a casting call to play a lead in the television series Moonlighting.
Moonlighting was such a huge hit for both he and Sybil Shepherd. They had a sexual chemistry and a rapport with each other that was kind of unmatched up until that point in television. It was really groundbreaking for its time. It was really groundbreaking for Bruce Willis as well, because he was literally plucked from 3,000 people to get the role in that TV show.
Moonlighting ran 4 seasons. Willis won an Emmy for his portrayal of a wisecracking private eye. With his growing popularity, his next step was the big screen. Bruce starred in 2 Blake Edwards comedies, Blind Date and Sunset.
Action. Neither was a hit, and Willis was stuck on the small screen. Adding to his woes, he was getting a reputation as a bad boy. A 1987 arrest during a party at his home made headlines. Then he set a benchmark for actors' salaries, making $5 million for the action thriller Die Hard, playing a New York cop fighting terrorists.
He's not some super cop, some indestructible, unfeeling, unemotional guy. He's a guy who cares for his wife, cares about his own life, he cares about staying alive.
While filming Die Hard, Willis married actress Demi Moore. Both personally and professionally, his life changed.
And there's no doubt about it that the turning point for Bruce Willis's career was his role in Die Hard. That movie solidified his status as an action star and kind of shot him to a next level in Hollywood.
Soon after their marriage, Moore became pregnant with the couple's first child. 9 months after their wedding, they had a baby girl. In 1989, Bruce's TV series was coming to an end, and he wanted to shake up his action star status with a drama. He was nominated for a Golden Globe Award from the Hollywood Foreign Press for his portrayal of a Vietnam War veteran in Country. Also in 1989, Willis tried a voiceover role as the baby in Look Who's Talking. He received $10 million for his work. Willis followed with a sure thing, the sequel Die Hard 2, which made more money than the original action thriller.
Well, I still see myself pretty much as a regular guy who's just fallen into very fortunate circumstances.
The only people who go to this much trouble are professionals, not luggage thieves and not punks.
During filming of Die Hard 2, Bruce's career almost came to an abrupt end with a life-threatening stunt.
The runner of the helicopter was frozen to the ground, and the helicopter tried to take off, and only one runner came up, and it caused the thing to go dangerously close to having the rotor hit the ground. I'm just doing my thing, and I get out, and everybody's like white and going, and I didn't know that was going on. That was kind of scary.
Die Hard 2 wasn't Bruce's only sequel in 1990. He also voiced Mikey again in Look Who's Talking 2. But this sequel was panned by critics. Then Willis experienced a box office slump when he tried to veer from the action genre. He was cast in The Bonfire of the Vanities to add box office clout.
The 1-2 punch of Hollywood here, Brian.
The Bonfire of the Vanities, based on Tom Wolfe's novel, failed to meet box office expectations. His next movie, Mortal Thoughts, was a small independent film that wasn't expected to do great things financially, but even it did better than The Bonfire of the Vanities. Mortal Thoughts, which co-stars Demi Moore, is a murder mystery about an abusive husband.
I know this guy, and I know what makes him laugh, and I know what he thinks is funny. This character, the way I'm playing him, is very quick-tempered, and he walks that line, that thin line separating, violence and non-violence very closely, and it doesn't really take much to shove him over into the other side.
Bruce constantly surprises me with his knowledge, not just of, in the sense of what he brings to the work as an actor, but also just his knowledge and professionalism in terms of getting the work done and helping the crew in the shots. And I really feel he's taught me a lot.
Willis became more involved behind the scenes when he wrote and co-starred in the action comedy Hudson Hawk. Hudson Hawk, an expensive movie to make, was universally panned and a box office dud. Bruce reached a low point in his career. He followed with Billy Bathgate, a gangster crime drama co-starring Dustin Hoffman. The box office was bleak. Personally, he was celebrating the birth of his second daughter, and he'd invested in a chain of celebrity-themed restaurants, Planet Hollywood. Things didn't pick up until December of 1991, when he returned to action films in The Last Boy Scout. But Bruce didn't want to be pigeonholed into one genre. In 1992, he changed his look for the dark comedy Death Becomes Her, co-starring Meryl Streep and Goldie Hawn.
I did a film a few years ago called Death Becomes Her, and at the time they had digital techniques that were used in that film that were the cutting edge of digital film technology, and they've since gone so far beyond that. It makes that film look like an antique.
Death Becomes Her won an Oscar for visual effects. Bruce followed with another misstep, Striking Distance, an action thriller co-starring Sarah Jessica Parker. Bruce later apologized to the movie-going public for this picture. The following year, 1994, was busy. Willis had 4 films in release, and he and Demi Moore had their third child, a baby girl. Bruce narrated a family film, North. Then he had a nude scene in the mystery thriller Color of Night. Color of Night was another box office disappointment, and it looked as if Willis couldn't find success in anything but action. Then he made Quentin Tarantino's critically acclaimed drama, Pulp Fiction, which was a worldwide hit.
Pulp Fiction was a movie that provided career turning points for several people in it, and most notably John Travolta and Bruce Willis. Both had enjoyed a lot of success on the big screen, but that movie kind of helped audiences look at them in a new way, and it was a really refreshing movie. Probably helped show casting directors and also audiences that these two guys could, especially Bruce Willis, could be seen in different roles than the typical action hero.
Tarantino won an Academy Award for Pulp Fiction. Bruce followed with a drama, Nobody's Fool. Then in 1995, at age 40, Willis proved he could still do action with the release of Die Hard with a Vengeance, another $100 million moneymaker.
I can't remember when I've had a better day.
While a smash hit doesn't hurt, Willis still wanted to prove he was more than an action hero. He tried a new challenge, playing a mental patient in Terry Gilliam's sci-fi thriller 12 Monkeys. Bruce was praised for his performance. Then he released a crime drama set during Prohibition, Last Man Standing, followed by a futuristic sci-fi drama, The Fifth Element. At the time, the film's $80 million special effects budget had never been equal.
It was really just a lot of big toys and a lot of. It's like a big roller coaster ride. I get to fly in spaceships and fly in cabs and be in New York in the 23rd century.
The Fifth Element was filmed in England and Iceland. Willis's next feature, The Jackal, about an assassin, also had an international flair. filming in England, Finland, Russia, and the United States. But Bruce and his co-star Richard Gere rarely saw each other.
The funny thing was, we would be in the same town. We were in 17 different cities in about 3.5 months in the United States and Europe. And I would see him, you know, occasionally. I would come in and shoot my stuff, and then they would come in and shoot the stuff of them following me around. I would see them, and I would say, "How's your movie going?" He'd say, "Great, great, good, really good." They say, "How's your movie going?" I go, "Good, good." And then they cut it all you know, together, and it looks like we're all in the same film.
After playing a bad guy in The Jackal, Bruce returned to his good guy status in Mercury Rising as an FBI agent assigned to protect an autistic boy.
Getting a little tired of doing films that are just about big noise and explosion and fireballs and really, I mean, if you don't have a story to hang all that stuff on, it's just noise for the sake of noise.
Despite wanting to distance himself from the action genre, Willis was still considered an action star. In order to make smaller, more meaningful movies, he continued proving himself as a box office draw. Bruce Willis's 1998 release Armageddon is a sci-fi disaster thriller. He and the cast, including Ben Affleck, Billy Bob Thornton, and Michael Clark Duncan, shot the film at NASA and were the only civilians allowed to wear genuine spacesuits.
The spacesuits that we actually wore on the asteroid weighed somewhere around 90 pounds, so it was, you know, it's kind of like carrying around somebody all day.
You know how they used to advertise those silver weight loss jogging suits for $18.95, like along when they were selling 8-track tapes, and you would lose weight fast. So people would like dehydrate and die, and they had to stop selling them. That's what the flight suits were like, the orange flight suits. I mean, you just pour sweat out of those things. They'd be soaking wet.
All the sweat and hard work paid off. Armageddon made more than $200 million, but Bruce could hardly celebrate. He and his wife, Demi Moore, had just separated after more than 10 years of marriage. Willis continued his busy schedule and followed with a Denzel Washington action thriller, The Siege.
We have to assume that'll mean civilian casualties.
Then Willis released a movie which proved again that he was more than an action star, The Sixth Sense. The mystery thriller about a boy who communicates with the dead was a Best Picture Oscar nominee. Haley Joel Osment, who plays the boy, was intimidated by Bruce at first.
He's such a big star, and I'd seen him in a couple of his films, you know, Fifth Element and everything, before seeing him. So I was pretty nervous, but once I met him, it's impossible to be nervous anymore because of such a down-to-earth person he was.
He's got the knife out.
The Sixth Sense, directed by M. Night Shyamalan, made nearly $300 million, and Bruce followed with another departure role as a car dealership owner on the brink of suicide in Breakfast of Champions. Then Willis made a romantic drama, The Story of Us, co-starring Michelle Pfeiffer.
What if I'm in France and I want toast? If I just say toast, I might end up with French toast. I don't want that. Then what do I do?
Stick with the croissant.
In 2000, with his divorce now finalized, Willis could be seen in an action comedy, The Whole Nine Yards. He also produced this picture, which co-stars Matthew Perry and friend Michael Clark Duncan.
This is my guardian angel right here. He called me at home, said, "You're not working, are you?" And I was trying to play it off like I was working. He's like, "I know you're not working, man." So he said, "Why don't you come on and do this movie with me?" And we went up to Montreal and did it.
Willis followed The Whole Nine Yards with a Disney family film, The Kid, and another M. Night Shyamalan thriller, Unbreakable, which co-stars Samuel L. Jackson.
In college, I was in a car accident. Was it serious?
Then Willis reteamed with Billy Bob Thornton for a movie about two bank robbers who fall in love with the same woman in Bandits.
In Armageddon, unfortunately, we had a lot of scenes together that got cut out of the film, and we became friends on that film. We had always talked about, you know, working together again, and we had a ball. We laughed every day on this film.
At this point in his career, Willis was doing what he wanted and working with whomever he wanted. His next movie, Heart's War, was a drama set during World War II. Next, he played a Navy SEAL in Tears of the Sun, which is set in war-torn Nigeria.
Secure the doctor.
After the seriousness of Tears of the Sun, Willis needed a little comedy, so he voiced the character Spike the Dog in the animated family film Rugrats Go Wild.
Running. I've been accused of having a little bit of dog in me for a long time, so I just, drew on that, and I think it turned out all right.
Continuing in a comedy frame of mind, Willis reteamed with friend Matthew Perry for the sequel, The Whole 10 Yards.
The sequel came about during the filming of Whole 9 Yards. We were having such a good time up in Montreal. It's a rare thing when you can get 5 or 6 really funny actors together and have the kind of fun we had on Whole 9 Yards.
Willis arrived at the Whole 10 Yards premiere with his daughters, including Tallulah, who was in the movie, and Bruce's then girlfriend, actress Brooke Burns. In 2005, he played a police hostage negotiator trying to save a family in Hostage.
Action! Joe, only God has the right to decide who lives and who dies!
We were fortunate enough on Hostage to be able to assemble a really strong crew, a crew who all worked together, who worked really long hours, and we had a lot of fun.
Bruce's daughter, Rumer, plays his daughter in Hostage. Reportedly, she had to audition like everyone else. Since Willis also produced Hostage, his daughter probably had a good chance of getting the role. Bruce's next release, the thriller Sin City, based on a graphic novel, is one of the first fully digital live-action movies. Director Robert Rodriguez enticed Willis to the project by showing him a preview.
We went to Bruce and I showed him the opening scene, and I don't even think it was finished, and he said, "I'm in." I showed him the book. He didn't even have a chance to thumb through it because he was shooting. He just could see right away. He loves film noirs.
The DVD clip that he had was about 4 or 5 minutes long. Started watching it, and about a minute in, I said, "Hang on a second." I hit pause. I said, "Whatever else I see on this, I just want you to know that I'm in."
Next, Bruce played a police detective transporting a prisoner in 16 Blocks. He chose this role for the message.
There are things that you can understand, that all these guys can understand, that you folks at home can understand about how hard it is to try to do the right thing, about redemption, about friendship, and about giving your word.
Dominic! What's the address here? 133 Mulberry. 133 Mulberry Street.
Willis quickly followed this release with another crime thriller, Lucky Number 11, and an animated family film, Over the Hedge.
A friend of mine asked me to do it. Jeffrey Katzenberg asked me to do it, and I said yes. Seemed like a fun thing to do. Seemed like a film that my kids would enjoy.
It's called a hedge, my amphibious friend. It is not to be feared. It is the gateway to the good life.
Willis plays RJ, a raccoon in Over the Hedge.
The character of RJ bore a lot of similarities to a character that I played on television called David Addison in a show called Moonlighting back in the 80s.
Back in his moonlighting days, Bruce was single. Now, the proud dad brought his grown girls to the Over the Hedge premiere. Then he talked about making the movie.
Always difficult to try to make people laugh, and it's a big challenge. And now, standing here today, I can say that we did, and the film turned out great, and we made people laugh. But while we were doing it, it's always that. If I said this once, I said it 100 times. I said, "Is this it? Is this funny? Is this what you guys think?"
Over the Hedge is based on a comic strip. Bruce's next release is the complete opposite of a family film. R-rated Alpha Dog is based on the real-life story of drug dealer Jesse James Hollywood, one of the youngest men to be on the FBI's most wanted list.
What?
I need 7.
7? Who?
Bobby and Ellie.
I'll get put together.
Attorneys for Jesse James Hollywood tried to halt the release of Alpha Dog, but they were unsuccessful. Next, Willis reteamed with Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez for Grindhouse, a double bill of 2 horror thrillers. 1 week after this release, moviegoers saw Bruce again in the thriller Perfect Stranger, starring Halle Berry. Halle plays an undercover journalist who investigates a businessman, played by Willis. She thinks he is a killer.
On a scale of 1 to 10, it's like a 26 or 27 as a kisser. Unbelievable. I'm about to start crying right now. I'm gonna weeping openly.
Whenever you have to play, flirtatious characters in a movie, some of that sort of bleeds off into real life, and we had a fun time.
Perfect Stranger was originally set in New Orleans, but the location changed to New York after Hurricane Katrina. Willis also had a sequel in 2007, Live Free or Die Hard. Bruce's stunt double was seriously injured while filming Live Free or Die Hard. He recovered and worked as Bruce's stunt double again in the sci-fi thriller Surrogates. Surrogates is set in the future when robots live our lives outside of home.
Got the OD. Back left, no back left!
I've always been a fan of science fiction. There's a film noir aspect to it that I liked. There's a kind of broken romance in the middle of it that I thought would be interesting.
Bruce brought his daughter Rumor to the Hollywood premiere of Surrogates and talked about her career.
It's nice to see her doing so well in her film Sorority Row. She kind of took a giant step forward with, and she keeps doing great work.
Willis also brought his new wife, model Emma Hemming, to the premiere. The two were married in March 2009. Bruce's daughters attended the wedding, along with former wife Demi Moore and her husband, Ashton Kutcher. The following year, Bruce made a movie starring and directed by Sylvester Stallone, The Expendables. Now in his 50s, Bruce Willis continues to be an action hero, while mixing things up with character roles.
The older I get, the more I fool around with leadership. I have 3 daughters that I guess in a way I'm trying to set an example for them, to try to lead by example.
Thank you for watching this Bruce Willis edition of Movie Star. Join us next time for another inside look at your favorite stars of the big screen.
If Daddy ever comes to the park. We're on our way to Virginia to stay with my Aunt Bernie, so I don't have money for a train ticket or a motel, and not that we're taking a Negro woman, even though it's a violation of the Civil Rights Act.
Growing up is hard. There's schoolwork, making friends, enduring the